Hi and welcome back. So in this video we're going to have a look at whether the methods we've just written for the post actually work and we can put things into the database and get things out. So the first thing to do is to create a new post. And this post is going to contain all these variables here. Notice how PyCharm already tells us which ones have default values, which ones don't, and what their names are. So blog ID is going to be 123. This is sample value, and I've already got another post in the database with the same blog ID, so therefore we can do something searching for blog IDs as well. Title is going to be another great post. Content is going to be, this is some sample content, and author is going to be Jose. We're going to leave the other two as blank, and they will default to today's date and none respectively. And then we'll say post save to Mongo. I'm going over to the terminal real quick, and I'm going to find whatever is in the database right now, and you can see that I've already got one post here. So I'm going to run this again and then go back to the terminal and find again, and now notice that we've got two different posts. One of them is another great post that we've just put in, and notice how the date defaults to 20th of September, which is today. The time is 11:36, and this is an interesting problem here / thing. The time right now is actually 12:36. However, because we said UTC now as being a default and not just now, this is not time zone aware, meaning that's what the Z means at the end. This is doesn't have any time zone data. It is simply at +0 UTC time zone essentially. And you should use this time zone when you're putting things into the database, because then it is very easy for you to convert from a time zone naive object like this one into a different time zone. For example, if you wanted to convert it to British time, you simply have to add 1 hour to it. However, if you store it in British time and you wanted to convert it to American time, you'd have to know how many hours you've got to subtract from British time to make it American time. And normally, the way you would do it is store it as +0 and then simply subtract 7 hours or whatever it is, the number of hours that you need to subtract. And that way it makes it a bit simpler, it makes it a bit more consistent. And if you always use UTC time as opposed to your local time when storing things in a database, that means it is much more easily localizable. So that is simply something I would recommend. But now notice that we've got two posts, so I'm going to go back into PyCharm, and then we can say something like post equals post from Mongo, and then find one with a specific ID, which I'm going to just get the one we just wrote, and then put it in there, and then say print post. And then we press play again. Notice that we found the content from the database with that ID, and that then we are able to print it out. Brilliant. We could also do, instead of from Mongo, we can do from blog, and then pass it in the blog ID that we just gave it. And notice that both posts have the same blog ID. So now we would call these posts, and we would say for post in posts, print post. That way we would print them all. Do remember that the from blog method is not a find one call, it is instead a find call, so it would return a cursor. And then we press play, and notice how we get both blog posts printed out here into our console. So this is how we would do that. And now we are finally able to move on into doing exactly the what the aim of this app is, which is to create the blog and allow users to interact with it and write their own posts and things like that. So I appreciate this section is a bit long. We're introducing a lot of new concepts in here. Do remember that we've got the Slack channel for any questions, and just keep going at it, because at the end of this section you'll have understood a lot of the things that are going to be the foundation for the remaining things in the course. So just keep at it, don't lose motivation, and I'll see you in the next video.